Let me start recording. So yesterday we have seen the Ant basic scripting part, okay, and we have gone through the structure of Ant build.xml, okay, and I talked about what exactly the build.xml contains and what are the main important tags, which is a project tag, target, and task, okay, and what are the different tasks available, okay. So we have gone through the file system tasks, Java related tasks, okay. So these set of tasks are done yesterday. Now let's proceed further to know about the rest of other tasks. Okay. So properties is not a task actually. Okay. So properties is a concept of creating the variables. So typically properties are something like variables in programming language. So what do you mean by variable in a programming language? It's programming language nothing but anything. I see guys, I said x equal to 10. What do you mean by x equal to 10 in a programming language? X is a variable name, 10 is the value of it, right? The left hand side one is the variable name and right hand side is the value of it, okay? So in AND, okay, in build.xml, the same X has been represented like this. Property name equal to X, value equal to 10. This is how you need to write the x equal to 10 in the build.xml. That's it, okay? So this we call it as a one property. And in case in a C language, Java and all, to make use of x, how do you print x value, guys? You put ampersand x, right? Okay, or $x in shell scripting. So if you prefix with the dollar, then it will print the value 10. Am I right? It will print the value 10. If you don't prefix with the dollar, right, it will print x only. I don't want x. I want the x value. So same thing, how do you make use of a property in AND? Okay, so you will be making use with the help of dollar floor braces. This is what difference, okay? It's not about that much of big. This is how you define a XML language. In any XML language, you cannot define x equal to 10. It will not accept. Did you ever see x equal to 10 in any HTML language? No. So this is how we need to define it. So now when it comes to actual purpose of the properties, now I explain you what is a property. Property is like a variable in programming language, and how do we declare it and how do we use it. Okay, so this is a typical basic of the property. Okay, let me try to give an example, then you'll understand much better. So what I will do, so this SRC project is there, right? This I'll copy it into some other directory. I would call as a project. Okay, just paste it here and take this Java. I'm treating this as a completely separate project, guys. Okay, just build.xml. Okay, so now I'll remove this all dependency things. Okay, forget about dependency things. I'm just trying to create a property here. Okay, property name equal to x in double quotes and a value equal to 10. This is how you define a property. Okay, you can make use of the property any of the target, because property, once you define it inside the project, right, this property can be used across any of the targets. Okay, so look at this. I want to make use of this property in the compile target. X value is $floor braces x. Okay, now you see this, when I run this target, right, it will print the x value as a 10. If you want, you can cross check it. Go to the project and run AND. Guys, did you see this output? In compile target, x value is 10. That is what we declare, and $floor braces x. It is fetching the value 10. You can give anything. It can be a numeric value. It can be a string as well. hello nothing but string. So try to run it and you can see hello here. So it is storing like a variable and you can make use of it. Now the same property concept, now what I wanted to do it, I want to make my script as a completely generic script, okay, not like a hard-coded values. I'll give a simple example. Guys, tomorrow what happens, uh, you have 50 projects are there, 50 projects, nothing but this project directory is one directory, guys, src build and all, and one build.xml. Similar like this, 50 projects are there. For 50 projects you need to keep on write the same build.xml again and again. Instead of writing the same build.xml again and again, let's try to create a generic template build.xml, okay, and that build.xml we will use it to the rest of all the 50 apps without writing much code, okay. That's what we call as a frameworks actually, right? So simple thing, guys. Example I'll give you. What do you mean by template? A template, nothing. Example I would say, you wanted to prepare your resume, okay. Will you write from the line 1 to line and yourself, right? You will take somebody else's template. I mean somebody like, a partial completed template, then you fill it. Now similarly, I have a build.xml for one project now, okay. Now I want to make use this for the rest of 50 parts. So to make use this for the rest of 50 parts, I want to make this as a template. Template nothing but everybody should be could be able to easily fill the things and run it. So that can be done with the help of the properties, okay. So how it will be done, I'll show you now. Now think about the other project source directory is not src, okay. Think about the other this itself is a different project. The source directory is source, okay. If this is what the project directory, source directory, do you think the compilation will be going fine? It will fail. If you make use of this script, it will fail. So you have to come here and change it. So every time you have to change all these variables. Tomorrow it build directory change, tomorrow classes change, okay, tomorrow the file name change, okay. So you have to tweak this entire XML file for every project. So instead of tweaking entire XML file, okay, so what you can do it, you can prepare a property file, like a property called srcdir for each and every value, okay. For current project, what is the source directory? Source, okay. Now wherever you're using source, right, you make use of the property, right? This is how, so that what is srcdir value, guys? Source. It will replace it, okay. Now similarly, I'll create one more property. You can create n number of properties, okay. Build directory, okay. So currently what is a build directory? Build, okay. My other project, they may not use a build, they may use something else, okay. So they may use output. So if they use output, right, wherever you have output, right, so you just put that, okay, build directory. And similarly, like each and everything, okay. One second, guys. Okay, yeah. So similarly, whatever the hard-coded directories are there, okay, we'll try to create the properties for them. Classes directory, okay. So classes is class. Tomorrow, like the name of the classes, they may change to CLS, anything, okay. So wherever the hard-coded classes is there, you replace with the property, okay. So here is the hard-coded classes, replace it with the property, okay. And here is the build directory, the output directory, replace with the property. So wherever you have build, you put it with this. So that what will happen, tomorrow if somebody wants to change the build directory, right, they no need to change every build location, they just have to change here. If they just change here, it will reflect everywhere. That's called the variables, okay. So where else you have it here, okay. Now what else? Okay guys, what else you can convert into variable here? I mean the property, I mean, okay. What else you can convert into property? Do you see anything else? Do you see anything else? What else you can convert into property? Okay. So I wanted to convert. There is one more variable. Can you see jar? jar is a hard-coded value, the path of the jars. Okay, so it can be something else. Tomorrow it can be jar. Who knows it? Jar. Okay, so jar directory. So wherever jar is there, you try to place it like this. Not the extension, guys. Don't change the extension. Okay. Apart from that, here is one more. Apart from that, anything else? The most important one is the file name. Right now, the project file name is hello world. Tomorrow, if you give it to somebody else and his file name is hello and hi or something else, okay. So what you can do is you can create one more property. That is a file name. Okay. Hello world. Okay. Anywhere else? Here. Okay. Anything need to be converted into property? Can you see anything? Still, I don't see anything. Okay. So we are good to go. Now let's try to run this and see whether this executes properly or not. So first and foremost, clean up this build directory. Okay. And build failed. Classes doesn't exist. Somewhere we didn't replace it properly. Yeah, here we didn't replace. It's not classes. It's this property. Okay. Now let's try one more time. That's it. Can you see output now? Now you look at the directories. Output, CLS, okay, hello world class, and JR hello world. Okay. So this is how you can convert your entire build.xml to property based build.xml. And the advantage of with the properties based build.xml is tomorrow if you give this script to somebody else, they no need to change anything in the main build.xml. They just have to change the values of the properties, which are these. Just they have to change it only once. Okay. If they change the values of these properties, the script can be directly used by them. Okay. They don't need to do any development of it. Did you understand the properties concept, guys? Did you get it? Praveen, Sunil. So the same properties can be moved into different files. Now we kept it in the build.xml, right? From here we can move it to a property file. Okay. And you just try to save them. This is the second way of declaring the properties. Okay. Now treat it as a build.properties. You can give any name. I just gave some property name. Okay. So when you're moving into the different property file, what you can do, in order to maintain the tagging convention, you can come back to your original what do you call, the typical programming language structure like this. Okay. Only when you move to the your property file. Okay. So I'm just converting this into the property file. Okay. This will be much simpler. One-time effort. Okay. Save it. Now once you save it, what you're supposed to do, when you move the properties to some other file, right, you have to give the reference of that file with a single tag called property file. What is a file name? Build.properties. That's it. Okay. So try to run now. It's a pretty much same. There's not much difference. Can you see this? So it's successfully done. Okay guys, there is one more property you need to define, which is a build directory should be, you have to keep this. Okay. Now you try to, because it's not cleaning up properly. Now it is cleaning up properly. So now you move the properties into the property file. Okay. So properties are defined in 3 ways. Now we have seen 2 ways. Where is my add? Okay. properties are defined in three ways. Okay, one is within build.xml. Okay, and second is build.properties. These two you see now. The third is from command line. Okay, now I'll show you how to pass it from command line. So before passing it, what we will do it, we'll go to this file. Okay, we'll try to comment out the property file because we are not using the property file now. Okay, now I commented. When I commented nothing but all these properties are neither defined in the build.xml nor defined in the your build.properties. Okay, so let's try to provide all these properties from the command line. Okay, so how do we provide from the command line? Come back to the command line. When you run ant write, okay, you have to pass the properties with -d suffix. Okay, so sorry, prefix. You have to put -d and add this key value, the property, like this. Paste it. This is one property is done. One more -d, paste it. Okay, one more -d. So you can pass n number of properties. It's up to you how many you wanted to pass it. -d, that's it. Now you run it. Okay, something went wrong. Let's see guys what happened. Okay, the issue is with the comment. The comment which I made is wrong. There should be a space. There shouldn't be any space there. Okay, now you see this. Can you look at it? It's working fine, right? So this is third way of declaring the properties right from command line. So remember, this is all about the property. There is in the properties there is one more concept called global properties are there. Global properties, or you can call them as a default properties. Okay, so what do you mean by global properties or default properties are? So these are like you don't need to define any of the way. You look at this, you don't need to define anywhere, but still you can make use of them. Example, I would say I wanted to know ant version, which version of ant you're using. $ant dot version. Now you look at this ant dot version I didn't define anywhere. Okay, but still, and now you try to look at this. Can you see ant version here? The output 1.9.7. It is getting the value of it. So this ant dot version is a global property. It will come with your ant installation. Okay. Similarly, like I wanted to know ant dot home. Where is my ant installation directory? Ant home nothing but where did you install it? Okay. So look at this. Where did you install this, guys? D and practice September. Can you see this? So I told you two variables. Okay, similarly there are I think 10 to 15 variables are there. If anybody gone through my documentation, you can find this. Okay, so I'll show you where exactly I mentioned in my documentation. Assume training. I sent a PDF to you. In this PDF I mentioned somewhere, yeah, these are all the default properties, guys. Okay, around 10 to 15 are there. Among them I showed you what? ant.home. Okay, home directory of ant installation. ant.version. Okay, the version of the ant file. Okay, similar like base directory. Okay, and project name. So there are so many other properties are there. You can make use of them if it is required for you. It's all about whether you use it or not. Okay, so let's move on to the next section. Okay, advanced tasks. Okay, what do you mean by advanced task? Is this, I mean, another set of tasks. That's it, nothing else. Okay, so in advanced tasks we have something called ant call, ant file, exec, zip, unzip. Okay, so this kind of there are many are there. I'm just talking about only few guys, the important ones which you use it. Okay, so let's see all these advanced tasks, what exactly these are. Ant call. What do you mean by ant call? Is let's come back to our this itself. Okay, now the thing is, uh, assume there is no dependency. Remove the dependency. Okay, so remove the dependency. Now I wanted to execute all these targets one by one without the dependency. Okay, so what you can do it, you can create a main target, something like this, main. So I just created one more target. Now in this target I'm going to make use of a new task called ant call, target equal to, okay, compile. So what exactly ant call will do it? It will execute a given target. Okay, so similarly now I can put three ant calls. One is for compile, one is for package, okay, and one is for the run. Okay, and call this main. That's it. So look at this. So the default is a main. It will come to main, and main will execute compile, package, run one by one in sequence. So you don't need to remember any dependency, you don't need to remember any sequence, so entire sequence is defined by here. Now you try to run this and see, and can you see this? First main will be executed, main, because main is the default one. Okay, main target. Now inside this, what is the next target? Compile. Next is what? Package. Next is what? Run. So with the ant call, the advantage is you don't need to prepare a chain of targets. Okay, whatever the way you want it, you can put it in one target and you can call them. So the ant call main purpose is execute another targets. Okay, so this is about the ant call. Now similarly, let me talk about another one, which is the, what is the other task? Ant file. Okay, so we'll try to do that example over here itself. Now what do you mean by ant file is, if you wanted to execute a different build XML from sitting on this build XML, okay, so you can execute this. Okay, that's called the executing a different ant. See, this is an important one. Suppose if you want to execute another build XML by sitting on this, okay, we'll use the ant file. So I'm executing build XML, which is in the parent folder. If you look at this, and practice September, right now I'm inside here. Okay, I want to execute a build XML in the parent directory, which is build XML. Okay, so I'm just double dot slash something, but you'll go into the parent and it will execute that file. If you wanted to know, just cross check it whether it is really executing or not. You'll be seeing now. Can you see this, guys? Is it executing CBA? This CBA is there in this build XML? No, right? It is there in the build XML. Okay, so you can execute a given build XML, okay, with the help of the ant file. Now the ant file is having another feature where you can execute a particular target. I want to execute a C target. See, it is executing A, B, C, all of them. Okay, suppose I want to execute a C target. Now you try to run and see. Can you see only C is executing? So you can execute a particular target as well with the help of the ant file. Okay, and that's about the ant file. The next, I'm just commenting out all of them, guys. Zip. What do you mean by zip is, see, once the build is done, I want to zip it. Okay, see, once the build is done, Suppose if you come back to the project, the build is done. I want to make a zip of output directory. Okay, how to make a zip of output directory? Source directory is output. Okay, right? Or you can call it as a build directory. This is also fine. We can make use of the property as well. And dest dot zip. So input is a directory, output is a zip file. Let's see whether this works fine or not. Something wrong, it's not source, guys. Base directory. It's not dest file. Yes, okay. So it's a base directory, is a source directory, and this is a file name. Now cross check it. Can you see it is created as zip file for you? If you want, you can delete it and you can see one more time. Run it one more time. Now you check it out. Can you see it is creating the zip file for you? Output.zip. So that's what the zip. Suppose, assume you have a source code in a zip format. Okay. Assume you have a source code in zip format. Okay. Now you have to extract the source code and compile it. So how do you extract it? Right now, this is the unzip task. I'm commenting the zip one now. Unzip source is source directory, right? Source directory dot zip. Now dest is directory, so without the extension, and cross check whether it is working fine or not. It's not source, it seems to be src, guys. Okay, now it's unzipped successfully. Can you see this source directory? If you want, I can delete one and I can execute it. You can see source directory, so it is unzipping it properly. Okay, so this is all about the advanced task, and there is one more task is pending over here, which is exec. Okay, now exec is such a really important task where you can perform anything with exec. Anything, nothing what, any kind of execution which you perform in command prompt, you can perform with the exec. So let's try to see that example as well. I wanted to open a notepad with Ant script. Can you do that? Okay, so if you have this kind of requirement, Ant supports whatever you run it on the command prompt that you can run through the Ant script. Suppose I want to open a notepad from the command prompt. It's pretty simple. It opens a notepad. Okay, I wanted to know the list of files over here. I can run a dir command. So I wanted to know mstsa. I wanted to open a remote desktop. Can you see this? So you can perform many things. Also, I wanted to run a bash script. I want to run a Perl script. I want to run a Python script. Okay, I want to do something. Everything, whatever you could able to do from the command.exe, right? You should be able to do it with your Ant as well, with the help of a task called executable. Okay, so in executable, you have to provide in exec, right? You have to provide executable, which is cmd.exe. Okay, and exec. Okay, now arg line, here you need to provide the actual argument /c nothing but command. Now if you want to open a notepad, whatever the command you typed in the command prompt, you just have to type that command over here. Okay, and let's see whether this works fine or not. Guys, is it opening notepad? Can you see this? Okay, now I want to run a dir command. Dir will print the list of files and directories. Can you see this list of files and directories? So exec is a command. Whatever you do it in the command prompt, you should be able to do it with the exec task as well. Okay, this is a really important task. With the help of this, you can do so many things. Somebody may ask you a question: how do you check out a code using Ant? It's pretty simple, guys. You know how to check out from command prompt, right? svn checkout, http blah blah blah. You type this, that's it. It will check out using Ant. Okay, so it will check out the code. It will run the code. It takes care of everything. So that's the main purpose of your exec task. Okay, so this is all about few advanced tasks in Ant. Okay, guys, any questions with this set of tasks? Did you get it? You have to practice all of them, otherwise it's not that easy to understand at the first attempt itself. Did you
Can
get
you
it,
tell me
guys?
about, I mean, repeat it about,
Repeat the what?
yeah, I need to repeat it, that ant file.
Okay, ant file. So
That means it executes two build files.
it will execute the given build file, not two build file. See, if you look at the ant file, right, I'm executing the build.xml. It will execute the build.xml and it will execute the rest of whatever you wanted to execute. That's it. And you can execute a number of a number of files. See, suppose it isn't commented now. Now what I will do after exec, I'll put the ant file, okay, and see this now. Something wrong. What went wrong, guys? Something wrong. Something wrong. Exec. Something wrong. Some slash missing somewhere. Exec must, okay. Here, the greater than is missing. Yes. Okay. See this. It is executed dir, that is exec one, and it executed C. Do you have a C target? That is there in the build.xml. Okay. And if you want to execute some other build.xml, you can keep one more ant call. Okay. Now I want to execute the build underscore java.xml. Okay. And I want to call the default target whatever is defined over there. Now you see this. It is executing C and it is executing compile one. Okay, there's something wrong within the machine, so it is not giving you the data here. Okay, so the failure is not your build.xml, the failure is in the this build underscore java.xml. So this is how you can call the n number of build scripts with the help of ant file. Did you get it?
Yeah, okay, got it.
So yeah, this is all about the advanced task. Okay, so few advanced tasks available in the ant. Let's move on to the web project task. Web project is something like, it's another type of projects in the Java. So typically, the most of the applications are categorized into two types, guys. One is a standalone, okay, Java application types, okay. So one is standalone and other is web app, or you can call it web service, okay. So standalone, the outcome of standalone is a jar file. Okay, the outcome of a web application is a war file, guys. Okay, jar nothing but Java archival, okay, the package format, and war nothing but web archival. Okay, now we have seen as of now the Java archival, which is a jar file which contains the list of class files. Okay, now what do you mean by web app is a web app is a application which is hosted on some app server or web server. Okay, I'll talk about app or web server later, but right now try to understand it is some container, okay, some server where you deploy this application and this application will serve the web pages. Now whatever the web pages you're accessing from the browser, right? Okay, all these are hosted as a web application in some servers. That's the reason you should be able to access through HTTP URL. Okay, any web application, any web service, you should be able to access from the browser. Okay, so now look at this. My go-to meeting, okay, or like, I have something called TeamViewer. Guys, this TeamViewer is not a web application. It is a standalone application. Okay, a standalone application like a game or TeamViewer or Skype. These are all standalone applications. Any application which you access from browser is a web application. So this is a kind of a basic meaning of for a layman who doesn't know what is the standalone web application. Web application you access through browser. A standalone you need to install on your machine. You need to access it. Okay, so most of the applications in the real world at the moment are web services, web applications, guys. Okay, because everybody coming into the online, everybody like to making the things in online nothing but web. Okay, so standalone very rare, I mean very few applications are there. So suppose I'm going to take an example now. If we get a chance to build a web application, okay, how do we build it and what is the outcome of a web application? So the outcome of a web application is a var file. Okay, now what exactly var contains is, see, in a typical web application, so what is the source structure? First of all, let's see the source structure, source code structure. So the source code structure will be, suppose it's a web app. Web app is my project name. Okay. So it contains a source directory as it is. Okay. Now the source directory contains the Java files. Now apart from the source directory, it contains some web content. Okay. This web content contains a folder called webinf. Okay. And web.xml. And apart from that, it contains some HTML files. Okay. Some star.css files. Okay. And also it contains some libraries. Okay. Libraries nothing but some jar files. Okay. So this is what the typical source code content. Okay. Now once you build this right, okay, once you build this right, exactly the same structure, okay, when you build it right, you will not be building this stuff. You will build only the source code. Okay, this you will build it. So the outcome of this will be the dot class files. Okay, dot class files. So but with the dot class files, you cannot do anything apart from the dot class files. You would need this content as well. Okay, so apart from the dot class files, you would need that content as well. So all this content, the dot class files and the web content, HTML, all this together, you make it into a single file, which is a war file. Okay, so the war file is a zip of all these files. Okay, that's what the structure. So let me take a good example, then you'll understand much better. So I have a sample web application, guys. So this is what the structure. Okay, that's what I showed here. SRC, you will be having it. So in a standalone, you have only SRC, but apart from SRC, you have one more folder called web content. Okay, so web content contains webinf folder and web.xml. These are the important files. Apart from this, it contains the libraries. Okay, like there are so many libraries are there. Okay, jar files. So these are all your application depends on all these libraries. Libraries are nothing but some jar files, third-party jar files. Okay, nowadays any of the application, they are not developed by themselves. Most of their features, they depends on the external libraries. Okay, so these are all the libraries. Now JSP's HTML. So these are the JSP's nothing but kind of HTML files only, guys. Okay, Java Server Pages files. So you don't worry about what this and all. Your job is to simply this entire directory you have to zip it with your class files. Okay. Now first and foremost you have to build this SRC file. So I'm trying to write the build.xml for this. So the XML file is already there, but I'll try to explain what exactly this XML file is. So guys, can you see this? The first target. Don't look at anything. Okay, just look at the this compile target. Okay, I hope you remember this task. Okay, the source directory is SRC and output is a build classes. It's a straightforward task. Let's try to compile and see this whether it really works fine or not. Go to the web app and try to run Ant. I'm compiling this. Okay, this is what my compilation. So my source directory contains the, if you look at the source directory here, it has com, vanilla, some subfolders and many Java files. This is one Java file. Okay, and this is one couple of Java files. Okay, and there's one more Java file over here. So you have many Java files over here. Okay, inside the SRC. So when you compile it, entire the compile class, all those classes will be dropped into the build classes, right? That's what they expected. But if you see this, I'm getting some syntax errors. Syntax errors, kind of like mistakes which you're done. Okay, so actually you're not doing any mistake. The thing is, your source code depends on some other libraries. Can you see this? Org Spring Framework Servlet does not exist. What do you mean by this is, your source code depends on this libraries. Okay, so you have to provide the path to these libraries to your compiler, otherwise your compiler will throw this error. Okay, now what do you mean, what exactly you're talking about? If you ask this question like, I didn't understand what do you mean by library and why it is different. See, if you look at the source code of the developer, guys, can you see this? This guy is importing. All these importing are called libraries. Okay, and these libraries will be sitting over there in webinf, web content, webinf, lib. Can you see all these libraries? And if you want, you can match up the names as well. See, if you look at this one, Just try to match this. Copy, Control F. Can you see web? It's matching, right? So this guy depends on those libraries. Now your job is to provide those libraries as a path reference to your Java C task. So how do you provide that is you have to create a path variable. So the path variable is called the reference variable that will tell you where are your libraries. Okay. Now that you need to create it now. So this is what the path variable guys. You can give any ID. My path lib, you can give anything, whatever. Okay, you give some ID and you have to tell where are your libraries. So my libraries are there from your source code, web content, web lib. You try to provide that path here. Okay, and if you want to include, see, in this path you may contain some other files as well, like exes, dlls and all. So if you want to include only jar files, use add subtargets, otherwise you can remove this. It's up to you. Okay, so once you create a path variable, now what you are supposed to do, your Java C earlier closed here only. Okay, right. Now what you're supposed to do, you have to subtag it and provide your reference path, the ID of your path variable. Okay, provide that here. Now you try to compile and see. Now the build is successful. So why the build is successful? Because your compiler got your libraries where exactly they are there. Your compiler is what Java C got the location of your libraries now. Okay, so this is called path variable, and this is how you compile if you have a path variable. Okay, remember you can have n number of path variables, guys. Okay, this is one path variable. You can create one more, like, give a different name. Okay, and maybe like in lib1 you can have another directory called lib1. Okay, and that you can include over here the another path variable. Okay, so you can add one more like this. You can add a number of path variables. It's up to you guys. Okay, so I'm just reverting this. Right. So this is how you compile typically an application which has some dependent libraries. Okay. Now we are done with the compilation, guys. Now you should be getting the outcome, which is build classes directory. Can you see inside the classes exactly the source structure created here? But only thing is it has dot class files. Right. This is the outcome, right? You have all the dot class. That's what the compilation. The compilation main purpose is create the dot class files for what are the Java files you have. You have 100 Java files, 100 dot class files. So now once you have this, right, now we are done with we are not done with our build process. Okay. Now we need to package it. Package is nothing but you need to make a war file. Okay. So that's what the outcome of a web application. Now this task will talk about the war file, guys. Okay. So here the task name is var, and just like a jar. Okay, destination file is a web-app.var, and in a var task, right, you have to mention the web.xml file path. So typically web.xml will be there here for any of the web applications. You might be thinking, if I don't find it, see, if you don't find it, then you ask the developer. Okay, it's a developer responsibility to commit this web.xml. Okay, so you try to provide the path of it. Okay, at the same time I told you, like, what do you mean by a war file? Is a war file is a zip, or like, combination of your dot class files plus your entire web content. Okay, now that's what I'm doing it here. If you look at it, in a war file the subset file set is a web content, so entire web content and build classes. This is what my outcome of my source code. Okay, so now, if you create a var like this, okay, the var contains web.xml, the var contains web content, the var contains the build classes, everything it contains. So let's try to create a var and see. So, and if you want to call a target explicitly, I want to call a var target. Okay, if you want, you can keep var here. Okay, call now. Compile, and the var is successful. And you come back and check it out here. Can you see your war file? War file is created successfully. Now, if you want, you can check what exactly the war file contains in a 7-zip or WinRAR or anything. Okay, can you see it contains the webinf? Okay, it contains the classes, all your vanilla, all these class files. Okay, so it contains the libraries, all these libraries. It contains the web.xml. So everything is available now. This is how you build a typical web application, guys. And you look at this script and you let me know if you don't understand any of the one time. Did you get it? Building a web application. Earlier Hello World is a standalone application. This is a web application. In Java you can find only these two types of applications. That's it. Guys, did you get it? What do you mean by web application? Any questions? Don't keep yourself silent, please. Speak up something. If you don't get it, you tell me. Sunil, Hemant, Praveen.
Oh, I don't have any doubts.
Okay, thanks. So let's move on. Fine. The last topic will be external tasks. Okay. So if we complete this, then we are pretty much done with our Ant build tool part. Okay. So in external task, we have some tasks. Okay. First of all, let me explain you what do you mean by external task. Okay. So the name itself is telling you external, which is nothing but not part of Ant installation. Okay. So I'll tell you one requirement. See, I wanted to send an email using Ant script. Do you think it is possible? It's not possible with Ant script. I mean, this Ant scripting is having some limitation to work. Okay, only few things it can do it. If you want to make use of an Ant beyond what it does, okay, then what you're supposed to do it, you have to make use of the external libraries. Okay, so these external libraries are developed by the many of the open source community folks. Okay, so they are developed a number of external libraries for the Ant, so that what you can do it, you can make use of those libraries and you can write the task. Okay, that's called the external task. So external, if you want to make use of external task, you have to download the external libraries. Okay, so there is a proper procedure is there. So first of all, what you wanted to do it. Okay, what is the requirement? Okay, identify the library for it. First thing is you have to identify the library. So you might be thinking, how do you identify? Right, you just Google it. That's it. It's open source tool, right? You can get the library in the open source anywhere, right? Next, once you identify the library, okay, download the library and keep it in and installation lib directory inside the lib folder. Okay, if you want, you can, I'll show you where exactly the lib contains. See, this is what and installation, right? Do you see lib folder here? So you have to drop the library here. Okay, when I say library, nothing but it should be a jar file, guys. It should be a jar file. Next, once you copy it there, then now it's straightforward. Make use of the task. As of now, all the tasks you are running this directly this step. You are making use of the tasks like in exec, zip and all you're directly using, because those are all the tasks part of your Ant installation. But external tasks are not part of your Ant installation. You have to download them and keep it in your lib location. These are the 3 steps which you need to do it. Okay, let's take an example, guys. Now, I wanted to my requirement, listen my requirement, copy a file to remote Linux machine. Did you get it, my requirement? I wanted to copy a file from my machine to remote Linux machine. What exactly I'm trying to say is, see, assume like, once I'm done with my build, see, web app, I'm done with my build. I want to copy this war file to my remote Linux machine. How do I copy that? Okay, so you cannot do any kind of a copy because you need to check whether your Ant supports or not. Okay, so now you try to Google Ant task to copy file to remote Linux machine. Just like how you Google your typical requirements. That's what my first step says. What do you want to do it? See, this is what I want to do it. Okay, identify the library. How do I identify? You ask Google about your question. Can you see the first answer itself? There is a task called SCP task. Okay, so you can make use of this task, but before making use of it, can you see the, can anybody read this note clearly? This task depends on external libraries not included in the Ant distribution. What do you mean by this? It is not there in your Ant installation. Okay, so you have to download the library. So you click on this library section and look for SCP task. Okay, so can you see this link? The jar name is jscs.jar. Okay, and click on this link and it directs to some site. You see this for this requirement, this site, for some other requirement, some other site. So in Google you don't know where you can find it, so you just have to find a jar file. So look for the download option somewhere. Can you see this? Download the jar file here. Okay, just download this. I'm just following my steps. See, I identified the library. Now what I'm doing it, I'm downloading it. Okay, so it's downloading now. So once it is downloaded, next step is to copy that to your Ant installation location. Okay, so where is my downloaded file? Oh, keep it JSH. Okay. Can you see this JSH? Copy this to your Ant installation folder is what? This one. And lib. I told you lib directory. Copy it here. Okay, I'm done with my second step, guys. Download the library and kept it in the lib location. Next, make use of the task. How do you make use of the task? I don't know the syntax of it. You don't need to know it. I mean, the documentation will, this guide documentation will give you the task syntax. Now you go to the main link of the SCP and come down. You can find the task syntax. Can you see this syntax here? You just copy this and come to your build.xml. Okay, let's try to create one more target, guys. I'm just creating one more target, and this target is, let's say, copy. Okay, this depends on var. Let's call copy. Okay, the copy will run at the end. Let me delete all this stuff. Okay, so now I wanted to copy my web app dot var to where? Remote Linux machine. Some host is your Linux machine IP address. So my Linux machine IP address is 190. Okay, let me try to log in my Linux machine. 192.168.16.10. Vagrant. Okay, mkdir. I'm just creating a directory called abc. Get into the abc folder. Okay, now guys, do you see anything here? Nothing. New directory. Now you have to provide the directory path here. Okay, and you have to provide the IP address 168.16.10. okay, it's a dot here. Right, now you need to provide user. What is the user? Vagrant. And what is the password? Vagrant. Okay, guys, now try to run now. CLS Ant. So can you see it is SCP connecting? It's copied successfully done. If you want, you can check it out now. LS. Can you see webapp.war here in the remote Linux machine? That's it. Pretty straightforward. So whenever you're using external tasks, you have to make use of these steps. Okay, what are the steps I defined here? Assume you didn't find out any of this. You didn't do the first two steps. Nothing but you didn't download the library and you're not using it. Okay, I'm just deleting that. I'm keeping it outside, guys. JSCH. Now what will happen if I try to run without downloading the library? Can you see it is failing now? Why it is failing? Problem is create task. The task is not defined, so you have to get the library first. Okay, so without that library you cannot do it. So just keep it at the original location in the lib. That's it. Now it will work. Okay, so this is called an external task, guys. So similarly, there are few more external tasks. Not few more, the many are there. Okay, it's all about your requirement. So I just told you one external task. Okay, so which is SCP. Okay, similarly there is one more is there, SSH exec, which is to to run a command on the remote Linux machine. This is also pretty easier one. Okay, and for this task also same jar will be used, guys. If you want, you can cross check it. You Google it. and this task. Can you say sh exec task? This is also an external library. Okay, same library will be used, the same jar file, and you can just copy paste the syntax over here in your build XML, and you can try to run a command. Now some host is what? The IP address 192.168.16.10. Username instead of dude, your vagrant. Okay, password vagrant. Now what do you want to do in a remote machine? Okay, I wanted to know what exactly the ABC folder contains. So which is nothing but ls minus l this. So you can run this kind of a commands by sitting on the Windows machine on a remote machine with the help of the Ant script. Now you just cross check how it works. Can you see it is copying it, and after copying it, can you see ls minus l command it is running, and you can see the war file where it is copied here. Can you see this? This is the output of your Linux machine, and you are getting it here. So this is called SSH exec, guys. Okay. So like this, there are n number of external tasks are there. Okay. Now what I will ask, request you is, guys, please explore. I'll give you some tasks. Okay. So please explore how to find this task. Okay, and how do I make use of it, right? So there is one task called if condition. Okay, how do you write an if condition? How do you write a for loop? Okay, how do you parse the XML file? How do you read XML file? Read XML file. Okay, next, how to check out SVN code using uh, external task, not using the exec, guys. Using exec, you use the command prompt. I don't want to use the command prompt. I want to make use of some external task. So could you please try to work out these external tasks? You search, you Google it. Okay, you will get the definitely get the library, download it, keep it in the lib, and make use of it. So this is how you can practice. Now I showed you a couple of them, SCP and SH. So similarly, you can do all of them. These are all not supported by Ant. You have to download the library and just make use of it. That's it. Okay, so this is all about the external tasks. Did you get it? What do you mean by external tasks? Sunil, Praveen, did you understand external tasks? These are also Ant tasks.
Yes, I understood.
Okay, so you're pretty much done with this. Only one topic left, guys, and options. Now it's already 11:36. Now what I will do it, I'll try to cover this tomorrow. So tomorrow we have a session in the afternoon 1:30. Okay, do you have any concerns, Sunil, Praveen, and Hemant? Tomorrow afternoon 1:30 your time. Hemant and Sunil.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Sunil, how about you? Sunil is there. It's not responding. Yeah, is it fine tomorrow afternoon 1:30?